And so it's creating that physical story. When you tell your story, I've told my story so many times. A little girl asked me today, she said, every time I hear you just telling your story, I said, that's all I got is my story. And I say, your story might impact somebody's story in a different way than mine was. I have a lot of people here. You've got the green stories. I've got like Greta. She's got not only the green story with her physical condition she had, her skincare story is immaculate. And so every day you got to present yourself in a manner and expose so many people to your story. Stories, facts tell, and stories tell. And it's the power of your own personal testimony when you go out and you share that with people. That if you're sharing your story, you're not selling or your story. You're actually, they're buying you because of your story. And you weave the facts in your story. And so at that particular point, that is the most powerful thing. It's kept Rob and I in business for all these years to have a business as huge as ours is, to bring in the people like Melody McFarland and Greta Douglas has been with us long. Patty's come back with us, and Susan Wade and the Cannellers. They always just telling their story. And see, that's where the power is. So you get your one or two products that you're going to get committed to, and you never can build a story unless you get totally committed to a particular product and a lifestyle change. And what this nutrition does, and even the skincare, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea my face was so dirty until Robin had me last night. She broke out the pads, and I ain't ashamed to tell it. She broke out the pads and she said, "Here, wipe your face down with this." I said, "My face ain't dirty. Look at this skin. Got the skin of a teenager." And when I got through, she took a picture of it. I said, "Oh my God, don't show that to nobody." I had no idea that my skin needed that particular treatment. So Ronnie, I mean, you guys out there, I want to tell you, we need this as much as anybody, because it pulled, and I kept touching my face all the way till I went to bed last night. That tingly, clean feeling. I don't ever remember having that. So I am a proponent of this new pad that we got. This new skincare line is pretty amazing. And see, that is a beautiful thing that you'll be able to talk to people and tell your story. And when you start to share your story, they can see the physical well-being. So that's why these before and afters are such a huge deal. Like Greta and Theresa and all you guys and Patty, you sent your stuff in. Those are your pictures. That is your story. You have documented the power of your story. So it's consistently telling that story that make things go to the next level. See, that point, you're not selling. Your carotid arteries are not bulging because you're just trying to sell it, make a sale. No, you're sharing something of value that enriches other people's life, and you do that through your own personal story. I don't know how many Christians we got on here, but if you read the Bible, it's nothing but stories of where people went from adversity to winning. They go from adversities to abundance. And so, and it's through those personal stories and you telling the hardships, even when you start to develop this story, this physical story as far as the products, and you start to create a financial story. Nobody starts on top, and by telling that story, you can weave your financial story in there from where you started, how you got committed to it, and how you stuck with it all those years, and you built this financial legacy. And your thinking has to start to change. You have to start thinking abundantly. You can't think like a broke person and create any kind of abundance. You got to think. You have to have the faith to start thinking abundantly, and when you start thinking abundantly, you start to act abundantly. That's why I'm so big in journaling. And I like to write down my name every morning to write the definition of who I believe I am today, and I like to go out a year from now and write the definition of who I'm going to become. And it's always in faith that I have by creating my story and sharing it on a consistent basis. Everybody I meet, I strike up a conversation and tell my physical story. And when I show the before and afters, I can weave in the financial story into it, and you can find out by asking questions what people need. But you know what? I always think abundantly. So, and also you got to sow the seeds to reap a harvest. If you're not out there sharing your story and you're lacking on your business, you're lacking on this, you have to go look at your calendar. How many times did I share my story today? So if you're not sowing seeds, you're not going to ever reap a harvest. It don't matter if your name is Rusty or Mark or Greta or Ronnie. If we're not consistently sowing those seeds, the harvest ain't coming. That's just the way God designed it. And so when you go out and sow the seeds of sharing your story, you create a narrative of hope for other people. And so that's where you start to exercise your faith. And when you can see the difference that I've seen in you guys on this private call, the difference I've seen in how you begin to grow and how you girls and guys that are hitting those lives. And I can see that every time I watch your lives, the guys that's doing them every day, how you begin to transition from where you were to where you are. I can already see the rate of growth, not only in your physical well-being and in your skincare. I can see the wording. Some of you are using different words. You have elevated yourself to what? Sowing that particular seed to start to grow. This is it's nothing more when you share your story, you're sowing the seeds, you start to grow. And so, and when you start to grow, your income will only grow to the level that you grow. And if you're not growing, guess what happens? You're not growing you, and therefore you'll never grow a business but so far. But when you create the power of your own personal testimony, that becomes like crazy. That's how you start to grow, because the more you grow your testimony, the more you grow, the more seeds you sow, the bigger everything starts to get for you. You got to shine bright when you tell your story. You got to be excited. You know why? Because all you got is your story. And you know what? To receive more, you got to become more than you are. How do you do that? You continually work on your story. And that's one big thing I want everybody to finish the rest of the year, is make up your mind where you want to be when you hit 2020. That's just a few days away. And those dream boards, and if you're going to make a dream board and you're going to sow more and you're going to after more, this is a year of more. And this is going to be a year of plenty, because most of you've paid the price. And it's time to step up for your rate of growth and telling the power of your story. But when I think everybody should make a dream board. In fact, I was talking to Ronnie about that yesterday. He said, I didn't make a dream board. I said, why not? He said, I made a dream wall. He said, I got a whole wall in my house. It is a dream wall. And I want you to start to dream bigger than you ever did. If you want to grow, you got to stretch yourself. And as you grow, you got to dream bigger and believe that you deserve that. And if you walk in the faith and you believe you deserve it, you know what begins to happen? That will begin to materialize. That's the same thing that's happened in mine and Miss Lackey's life, as to receive more than we have to become more, and to just tell your story more. And people they're looking for the next hope. And most of you have a story that's so compelling that when you talk to people, that is giving people hope. I don't care if you're doing it through Facebook Lives, belly to belly, through the phone call. Now I'm big on belly to belly. I like to strike up a conversation and just find out what's important to people. And I weave my story into creating a solution for the problem. And you know what? You can't do that if you don't have a big imagination. God gave us imagination so you can just imagine the possibilities of where we're going and what's going to be. And all that is wrapped around what? The power of your own personal testimony. To be who you come to be. God didn't put you here for just to be average and mediocre, to just sit around and think about it and feel sorry for yourself. No, God put you here to what? To become more than you are. And how do you do that? You have to grow that, and it's through your own personal testimony of developing a product testimony, so they can see your before and after, but they can see the excitement. How excited is it, Ronnie? I want you to click off the mute right quick. How excited, you've had some great success in the last little bit. I want you to tell your story of when I first met you till now, as far as your success with you and Amy, just in your physical well-being.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, man. I mean, literally, when I first met Rusty, the second time went by and didn't even recognize him. And as we were talking, he was telling me about what he's done. I could notice that there's something in him, that he's lost a lot of weight. And he even asked about doing the coffee and everything. And I knew that I needed to do something. Matter of fact, I told Amy about 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, I need to start doing something, because I'm not healthy like I was. I just turned 50. I was I was almost 400 pounds. It was not good. And he asked me, to try this, with my health, but I still turned it down, thinking, I'll get back with you. But he made a comment. He said, well, when you're ready to be an asset, not a liability, give me a call. And, that stuck too, because he was direct to the point in what I needed. Wasn't playing around. He knew that, you could look at somebody and tell they serious, they need it. So he told me. The next day I went down to Wilmington to drop some tea off and to come back, and I'm driving home that night, and I heard a pastor on the radio, and he said, I've never seen a dead man cash a check. And that hit me hard, because I realized that's exactly what's happening to me. I'm working for the money. I'm doing all this stuff. I've got 3 or 4 jobs this, and it's just going crazy. So finally I called him that night, and I said, Rusty, I want to try that coffee, but I want to be serious. And I remember he told me, he said, well, are you doing it for you, because it ain't going to work if you're doing it for somebody else. I said, what do you mean? He goes, no, you got to be doing it for yourself. And that was the decision I made. And we took the coffee, we did it. Amy did it first because all I said, it gets rid of your belly, targets your belly fat. And she goes, well, the last child we had came with luggage and left it. And she goes, so I'm going to go first. And so she did. 6 days, she lost 6 pounds. So she said, I don't care what you do. I don't want to run out of this coffee. So I told Rusty, I said, I want to do the coffee, but I don't want to do the business because I heard of direct sales. And I don't want to sell nothing. I don't want to sell. He said, that's fine. He said, get a testimony. He goes, because you're going to share one way or the other. You're either going to share it's good or you're going to share it's bad. But one way or the other, you're going to share. And if you're sharing it's good and they start buying it, why not get paid? That's a no-brainer, And so basically, we decided to do the business. And we started working on it. We started sharing it. We started doing some things. The first week, signed up 3 people, showed them how to get, 2 little customers, and I made $300. Had everything planned out the first day. Ruby, everything wrote down, and he's like, that's it. I was like, well, what do I do next? So I'll just repeat it. So I did it the next week. I made another $200 in Fast Start. And it was like, wow, I ain't even got a paycheck yet. And so anyway, so we started going by the end of the year, as of the end of the year now. Well, he didn't know a month before I met with him. We got our letter in the mail for there was foreclosing on the house. So we were losing our house. We was already 4 payments behind. This was going in the 5th month, and they wouldn't do anything. And that was it. So I started trying to find another job, doing what I could do. And then finally, anyway, long story come into it, at the end of the year, we ended up getting our house back because of It Works, because that was a job. They looked at my paycheck of the business I worked for, which was It Works. They saw that the commission kept going up, and it was residual every month and increasing, and bonuses and all that. So all that was on paper. That helped us get back to where we need to be. We ended up getting the house back, not only the house back, but we ended up buying Amy a car. And the crazy thing about it, now I think I put on Facebook last Saturday or Sunday, or it might have been Monday now, a picture of me and Amy, January 2019 to last Saturday. Was at a Christmas party, and between that time, we've already lost between both of us 80 pounds. And you could tell the difference in the picture. And that's all we do is we just show that picture and say, hey, it works. Not only did we lose weight, but we maintained it. And that has been the exciting part, is just sharing what we're doing. And we ain't even where our goal is, but it's already happened. And we're 50 years old, 51 now. And you're ready to turn 52 in January. So the whole thing about it, it's not too late, but you got to make that decision to do it. So we're excited about everything. And the funny thing now, we pay the house payment, and every time I pay the house payment, I ask the lady, now what's the payoff? Like, why do you keep asking that? I said, because one day you're going to tell me the payoff, and I'm going to say, this ain't the payment, this is the payoff. And I said, and our goal now is this year or next year, we're going to be debt free. The house is going to be paid off. And that way they can take it back.
You can't take something that you own that you don't owe nothing for. That's a good feeling. Did you see how Ronnie was excited about his story, how he crafted the story from where they were? He even had adversities in there. Did they come out of the adversity, not only in his physical well-being, but his financial well-being? Do you see that story is very compelling? But, I got a great story, but there's some people, my story won't even touch, but that right there, they can relate more to Ronnie. They'll be able to relate more to you and your story. That's why telling your somebody says, well, I hadn't lost but 2 pounds. Well, hell, that's your story. The 2 pounds is big to some people. You definitely don't want my story to have to lose over 500 pounds. But the bottom line is your story is important. I don't care if it's taking the wrinkles off your face, taking the wrinkles off your chin, it's making your eyelashes better, whatever your story is. Every day you're crafting your story, and whatever your story was yesterday, you're actually adding to it and building on it. So yesterday's story is perfect. And when you start to share yesterday's story, or where you are from when you started up to now, if it's 2 days, 2 weeks, or like Ronnie, a year, like me, I'm actually looking over at 19 years now. Can you just imagine? Your story is so powerful, and yet some people think I've got to have this major successful. Nobody starts with a great story. It is something you consistently build over time through consistently showing up, consistently being committed to it. It's called doing your diligence. You have to be diligent. Now, what does diligence mean? It's something very small you do repetitive over and over and over and over again until this gets really big. And that's all we've done for going on 19 years. Every day we just show up building the story. The small things every day is what creates the foundation to create the big story. And nobody's story is too small for you not to share. And Greta, I'd like for you to come on and share your story. You and I have been buddies a really long time. I've been to your place multiple times in Texas through the years. And, you know, to talk about the skincare and how you've got everybody just in the last, like just in a month or two, you've got more notoriety and attention, and you've got your before and afters approved. That's pretty big. That's pretty significant. And your story's impacting people all over the world at this point. So Greta, tell them about your story. Hold on a minute. Let me unmute you, Greta. Oh, man. Can you reach over and unmute yourself?
Okay, cool beans.
There you go.
All right, well, I guess I made a commitment after my birthday in November that I was going to hit it strong and hard. And for anybody who knows me, to put pictures of my face out there without makeup never happened. Nobody ever sees me without makeup. So that was a big deal for me. And when I started doing it, I started noticing the difference of my skin. And that made me more confident to say no filter, no Monday, and to show my pictures. Like yesterday, I went to the bank with no makeup on. That never happens. I beat my face every morning. And I just feel that these products are so amazing. And then when we started talking about the illuminating products, and I can see the dark spots on my face blending that has never been able to do. I don't have to use a concealer or contour there. That's a big difference to me. So it is very easy for me to go out and tell people that, yes, this absolutely works. And when people say, well, what about the old skincare? And I'm like, well, I use my cleanser as a shower gel for the old one. You know, repurpose, re-show how it works and different things. But I just came back with a strong commitment to be all in. And all in means doing everything that they are offering and not leaving any money on the table. So if that means I have to put my face out there with no makeup, I'm going to do that. If that means that I have to just share more than I normally would, I'm going to do that. And I find out with the consistency with it and being out there all the time, yes, more and more people are starting to notice. When Rusty sent me a text and told me to put before and after into It Works, I was like, yeah, we think about that. I get back with you. But I had made the commitment to him and to myself to be all in. And you can't have one foot in the water and the other foot on land. So I was really excited when they accepted it. And I can use it now as my own testimony and feel good about it. And y'all use it too. Plaster it anywhere you need to show people that I have really bad panda bear eyes and a lot of discoloration here. And these products it's going away. It is going away. And that's why I have no problem putting it out there and showing people. So, but I do know the consistency. More and more people have called me and said, girl, what is it that you're doing? Are you still with It Works? Because you are really pushing stuff out there. And I'm like, no, It Works. It Works. It's just, we are so much more than a body wrap. And that is, and coffee, because people say, oh, It Works coffee, oh, It Works body wrap. No, we have other products that can make you healthy. And it just gives you a foot in the door. Like, I have trouble sleeping. I immediately tell people I take collagen every night before I go to bed. It helps me to sleep better. I drink my coffee maybe 3-4 times a day. I'm old military, so I can drink coffee at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter. So, but but I use it every day. And the celery, unbelievable, unbelievable the results that you can get with celery if you use it consistently. I was off of it for 3 days and I have never felt so sluggish in my system as being off of that celery for 3 days. And if you see certain things happening in your body when you're on celery and you're kind of like, I don't know if this is working, go back and use the medical medium of celery. The very things he puts in there that says as you're detoxifying, your body will happen to you. If you are consistently drinking that celery, you will see those changes in your body. And it's almost day 5, day 10, day 15, day 20. You will see those changes. So I can talk about these products now with more excitement because I'm actually seeing what they're doing for me every day.
Right.
And if I don't take my greens, my sinuses are wacko. So that's just an everyday.
It's something you keep saying you're all in, you're 100% all in. It's through the commitment, but you've seen the difference in your personal story, your physical well-being, your skincare is pretty immaculate, and that's how you become all in, and you get absorbed by it, and you don't have any problem sharing something of value to other people, because when you share something of value, you enrich other people, and therefore when you see the difference in your own personal, you get hungry to grow to the next level. I want to go to Theresa. Are you there, Theresa?
Yes.
Okay. Now you and I had a conversation that you're committed to doing the lives every day with you and the other ladies. I'm so proud of you guys, but you didn't know if your lives were doing any good, and you wasn't for sure. So what did somebody ask you about your lives the other day? Now you're there every single day. What did the other people ask you about your lives?
They I had a lady to ask me the other day if I was doing sweet tea, if I had done my live yet that day, and I said yes. And she said, oh, okay, I wanted to make sure because I didn't see it. Some friends of mine have been sharing your lives.
So you never know who's watching your lives, who has watched it, who is just ready to make that decision. I need to be in business with you because your lives are touching people's lives. And that's one way to gain exposure. Now, Theresa, you got your before and afters approved by corporate. You want to tell us about how you got that done and what you were using?
The most recent ones was 3 days of using just the neck cream, and the difference was shocking for me, but they were great. And I posted on Facebook if everybody hadn't seen them, but yeah, they approved them right away. It was a major difference.
Yeah, well, it's something I want you guys to understand out of Ronnie, Greta, and Theresa. When they start talking about the story and their own personal story and the results they've had, the winning results, do you see how excited they get? But it's not a salesy excitement, it's a sheer passion. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. So sharing your story, it doesn't matter how big or small, you can't compare you to nobody. So don't think that you have to look like this person or be this person, or be at this level or be whatever. Your story is good enough. It's powerful. Now I want to go to Patty. Patty got her before and afters approved. So Patty, tell us about your before and afters.
I was just using how many products was in there? The facial products. I wasn't taking the hair, skin, and nails. And I took my pictures with no intentions, none whatsoever, of having before and afters done. It was just for me. And then the 10th day, I thought, well, I'll just take my pictures again. And that was about 11:30 one night, and I texted them to Rusty. And I said, all right, which one's before and which one's after? And he told me, and I sent it in to corporate, and it was just my forehead. And it blew my mind away. And I can't wait to get these other things and start using them. All right, Greta used what products?
I use the Total New Skincare line. And then I also use the illuminating line. So my first picture for the before and after was with the new skincare. And then the last pictures I put out there on Illuminating Glow is using the neck and the pads and the eye and brow. So I'm actually doing everything that they put out. But as far as the one that I think is making the difference on my skin is the pads. It's blending out the dark spots on my skin. And it's evening the section around between my face, you know, your cheekbone, and that other part over there that goes toward the ear. It's blending that all out now to be one color. But those are the products. I've been on the skincare since I've been in the company. So for me to come off the old skincare and jump full into this one was a big deal. Because I keep that stocked up. Like some people keep wipes and wraps stocked up. I keep skincare stocked up. So that's why I'm saying I have to repurpose it now. So I'm using my old cleanser as shower gel, which is really amazing because you only need a little bit of it and it goes along.
So are y'all using the ones that already have the pads? Are you using the whole one? Tyler said they're huge.
Oh, I use it completely on my face and my neck area and the décolleté.
So you're not cutting them because she said they're huge.
You get 60. It's enough to do twice a day.
All right.
Well, as dirty as my pad was the first day, I need 2 a day.
It's amazing. And guys, did you do your Instagram story thingy for the shelfie picture?
Yes, and even luffing on the table. Put it out there.
See, I didn't know that the story is different from just posting on Instagram.
Right. You have to put it in the story and then you have to tag everybody in it. So when you put your Instagram picture up, do the letter writing on it and tag. You're supposed to tag It Works Headquarters, and then you're supposed to put at not
Botched Just Beauty. The hashtag, not Botched Just Beauty. Yeah, I did that, but see, I didn't realize that just posting on Instagram is different.
Yes, it is.
Doing a story on it.
It is different from your story. And you can let that story on Instagram feed to your Facebook story. So you got it covered on both platforms.
Yeah. Well, I learned that today. So I did mine. I got mine in.
Fantastic. See, you understand how powerful the story is and how we come together as a team, we become unified, how we support each other, what we're doing tonight. Everybody, you should make up your mind. Like Greta said, she's 100% all in, not only with the product line, but sharing the story. If you don't ever share your story, it's like having a storefront and you never unlock the door to open up for business. You're the gateway or the entrance to your business. It's your own personal story. And you got to be out there every single day. If you're going to do social media, be sure you're very consistent with social media, being out there showing the products that you're using. Always have that in front of people, but it's sharing that story. And I love to do the lives. I've been doing them for many, many years. And you'd be surprised how many people watching you. And if you, like a few days, one day I missed last week because I was hunting and I'm taking off on a bear hunt this coming week. I'll be doing it from a tree, I reckon. I fell out of the tree stand, 20 foot from there, hitting every limb and overhang all the way down. And I contest not getting all broke up by utilizing products and working out. At my age, I should have been all busted up. But bottom line is sharing your story by taking care of yourself. You have to be the most important person in your life. If I did not believe that Mark Pentecost had us the best nutrition available for human consumption on the planet, I wouldn't be here talking about that. If I didn't believe we had the best skincare for your skin on the planet for human beings to make a difference, because in a very short order, look what a difference it's made on the people that spoke tonight. And I know everybody on here has a particular story. So to live in your purpose, you've got to live on purpose. If you're living on purpose and sharing that story, you'll start to live in your purpose. And it's all about how you're going to grow yourself, but how powerful that personal testimony is. And that's something every one of us are developing every day, because in the morning will be a new day. And I promise to God, it will be the very best day I've ever had, because I'm 100% all in, just like you guys are. I'm committed to the product line. I'm committed to the business, because I want to impact more people next year. And I've impacted in my entire tenure of 18 years of Mr. Pentecost. And as we roll in, we're starting to look over the mountain at the 19th year coming up. I want to impact more people, and to know that we led this particular group of people from where you are to where you deserve to be. You've got to know that you're made for more, that you're coming after it, but you'll never do it if you're not sharing the story and you're not all in. It's like, I love Greta said, you can't have one foot in the water and one foot on land. You got to get all in. You have to be submerged in this, because I promise you, if you really knew what I heard and what I already know, you wouldn't hesitate. You wouldn't wait. You would be 100% all in, and you'd go after it's like a multimillionaire professional, and you would take your whole demeanor to a new profession of creating that story, creating the narrative for your story, adding value to it. But you wouldn't sit around and think about it, and you'd stop all that scrolling on your social media, and you'd start putting the content out there that would expose your business, your story in front of people, so you can relate to more people. This is a year that all of you've lived for. I promise you, the math is crazy. It makes sense. And for what he's fixing to do, after all these years, they expect me to be excited, but after all these years, most people ain't excited no more. I feel like I just joined the company today. I feel like this is my first day in. In fact, I'm actually starting over. As of right now, I'm starting over to build a brand new business, a brand new everything, because I got a brand new rebrand of everything I need. But I've got a multi-billion-dollar backing like Mr. Pentecost, and he's at the leader at the forefront of this thing. And, his vision is compelled, and he's a very devout Christian, he and Cindy. And, he said this is something that God's laid not on his heart, but in his heart. There's a big difference to be on it but versus being in it. Does anybody have any questions before we go?
Hey, Rusty.
Yes, sir.
Make sure whenever, like, you're telling your story, talk about the product you used, because when you put that out there, I watch people's story and their videos, and somebody will say, well, I don't know much about the greens, but if I know somebody's story and what product they use, it's easy to say, but I know somebody that's done this. And when we share each other's story, but we need to make sure the products, we know the products as well. That's just as important. That's just as important to share along with your story, because things I'm using, things you're not using, vice versa, but we need to know the products along with the stories. So keep that in mind as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think a staple for everybody on this live, and I've got a lot of backup between Greta, Patty, Ronnie, myself, Robin, Theresa, Megan, is the greens. I think everybody in the entire on here, the greens, I think that was the foundation that basically saved my life. It alkalized my body. I don't do without greens. I drink greens multiple times a day because it's got the additional magnesiums and potassiums in it. If you'll read about what that actually does for you and what these greens do for you, if you love your spouse, if you love your children, you'll be sure they get adequate amount too. Because I'm gonna promise you this: I'd rather be in a hard 100% all in a preventative than any form of treatment that you could possibly take. Because Greta can attest to this. She and I've kind of walked the same walk. When it comes to that treatment process, that's some nasty stuff. And if I can prevent it, you'll never get me back into a clinic where you're going to treat me for nothing. You might treat me for being crazy, but I'm going to be crazy 100% all in, because I'm going to take as good a care as I possibly can of this only body that God gave me. So again, to live your purpose, to live in your purpose, you're going to have to live on purpose. And every day you get up with purpose to fulfill that particular purpose, because what? You have a blueprint or a purpose, and you have a principle built into your purpose. And there's absolutely no way you can't go out. You just got to believe you're made for more, but you got to have the willingness to share in your heart, to do your missionary work, to let people know what you got is worth. If somebody called you right now and said Walmart had loaves of bread for 2 cents and gallons of milk for 3, for a nickel, you can buy bread and milk, you would tell everybody you know. You'd be on the phone nonstop networking every person you knew and every person you met on the street. And so bottom line, you have to get to that point of excitement about where you are, but where you're going. But that willingness to be 100% all in, to share something of value that enriches other people's lives and adds value to it. Guys, if we don't have any more questions, we're going to close it out tonight, and we're going to keep working. Guys,
Rusty, I have one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I've been doing the celery and the greens, And I have seizures, and I have not had a seizure in almost 4 weeks after starting these. I did have 2 the past couple of days, but 4 weeks has been the longest I've gone without a seizure.
Wow.
So I think I even talked to my doctor. She thinks some of the greens with the potassium and the celery is really helping with, my seizures. And so I just wanted to share that because 4 weeks is pretty huge for me.
Well,
So
that's a big deal for us. And you're taking the greens and celery.
I'm taking greens, celery, and the reds. Yeah.
So how do you feel versus when you first started? How do you feel now?
Much, much better. My seizures are brought on by like bad anxiety and depression.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm not having nearly as much anxiety. I'm also not taking nearly as much anxiety medications as I was.
Wow.
My mood is better, so that helps. And I feel like I have just more energy. Like I actually feel like I want to go do stuff. So overall, it's making me feel a lot better. My doctor was really pleased today. So
Well,
with
we're
that.
so proud of you. Thank you for sharing that story. I didn't know, or I'd had you on here earlier. Well,
Oh
guys,
no, that's fine.
yeah. We have anybody else with any more comments or stories that you want to add before we go?
Yeah, Rusty, I do.
All right.
I have not had a Prozac in weeks. Now, you know that's been my joke with you. It's not been a joke because I've been on them for 20 some years. And we know they work because I've not killed anybody. But I have tried to come off before and never been able to. And even before I tried to come off with just the Confianza, and I wasn't able to do it years ago. But I guess with the celery, maybe now, and the Confianza, I've not had one. I was talking with Tyler about it in weeks. So I'm on 0 pharmaceutical meds, 0. And I have MS and I'm 55 years old. And I get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's like unheard of for me. So yeah, and Megan she's my hero.
Yeah, well, mine too. Absolutely. Well, as we can't make any claims for what we heard tonight, you have to check with your doctors to be sure. But when if this is the only thing you're doing different, and you feel that difference, and your doctor was proud of you, showed him what you're doing, that's pretty amazing. Anybody else want to add anything before we go? It's getting exciting. All right, guys. I love you guys. You matter to me. You're very valuable. Let's go after this thing. Like Greta said, let's get all in. Let's quit playing and get your toe out of the water. Just jump in. That's the only way you're going to get all in, is to jump in head first and go after it. And I promise you, you're going to be so glad you did. From a physical attribute, well-being, that's going to turn into a big financial attribute. And this is going to be the year that it takes you to the next level. It's just like we're brand new, starting from the first day I got in. And we're going to work like that. You know why? Because there's so many people that need each one of you. There's people that need you right now to be bold and to go out and to live your purpose. And you can't do that until you live on purpose. And when you do this on purpose, there's absolutely nothing that can slow you down except you. All right, guys, I love you. You matter to me. This will be downloaded. Robin will have it on our YouTube channel later tonight or first thing in the morning. Good night, everyone.